Welcome to Armchair Buffaloes, where we discuss all things Colorado football. Today's guest is a true Buff and teammate. He was our team captain and leading receiver my freshman year during the 1998 season, where he also won the very first Buffalo Heart Award. Chev ranks 7th all-time in receptions at CU with 97th and 14th all-time in yards with 1,199. He went on to play 4 seasons in the NFL with the Browns, Cowboys, and Falcons, and was even a teammate of my co-host Bobby Pesavento with the Austin Wranglers in the Arena League. In 2016, Chev returned to the University of Colorado as wide receivers coach, co-offensive coordinator, and recruiting coordinator under Mike McIntyre, where the Buffs went 10-4, won the Pac-12 South, and earned a berth in the Pac-12 championship game. He was retained by Mel Tucker as assistant head coach, wide receivers coach, and recruiting coordinator, and again by Carl Durrell as offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach. Chev has committed a decade of his life to Colorado football and continues to bleed black and gold. He's now the head coach at Northeastern State University in Oklahoma. Chev, we had your brother Ryan on the show a couple of years ago. You took a lot of heat at the end of the 2021 season when Carl let you go. If I remember that show correctly, Ryan told us that Coach Durrell wanted to run more of a pro-style offense while you favored the spread, believing the personnel wasn't there to run the pro-style offense. I'd like to give you a chance to share your perspective or anything else that you'd like to say to Buff Nation about that moment in your time in Boulder.
I mean, first and foremost, great seeing you guys. Great seeing Bobby and great seeing Beau, man. Good seeing you guys, man. I miss you guys. Obviously, me and Coach Durrell, I have a ton of respect for Coach Durrell. I played for Carl. He was my position coach in college. We won a lot of games as a player-coach relationship. And even when I end up staying on and becoming the coordinator in 2020, man, we got out the gates 4-0. We were scoring a bunch of points. I think at the end of the day, like as a head coach, I'm a head coach now. I've been a head coach now this is my 3rd year as a head football coach. And so I know the stresses that were on Coach Durrell, and I know the pressure that was on Coach Durrell. And I think we have different philosophies on offensive football, and that's okay. Carl wanted to be more traditional pro style. I think that's what he was comfortable with, and I was more comfortable with more of the spread, tempo, players, not plays. I was more about our skill against their skill, trying to get guys in space. And we had very good skill at that time. And that's why we were able to kind of do some good things in 2020. I mean, Coach Durrell was Pac-12 Coach of the Year, and Jarek Broussard was the first player in school history to be the Pac-12 Player of the Year on offense. But that's a big deal. Even though it was a short season, you're still going to play good football to get those awards, And I will say this, though, like we just had different philosophies. And I never was going to undermine the head coach. I'm an assistant coach, and I've been an assistant coach for a long time, and now I've been a head coach. Now my role as a head coach, I have assistant coaches on my staff. If I give an order or if I want something done, it's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. If the head coach gives an order, Carl wanted he wanted to be more traditional, and I respected that. I did tell him that I didn't feel like we had the personnel, but at the end of the day, it was Carl's program. I respect him as an assistant coach. And I never said anything negative in the media, never said anything negative publicly, because that's not my role as an assistant coach. I'm loyal to the head coach. And I can always look myself in the mirror, even though I took a lot of heat from a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of Buffs in 2020. Man, I'm telling you, dude, the heat was real in 2021, man. I had to mute my phone on my notifications because it was out of control. But at no point in time did I undermine our head coach. And I can always look myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I did the right thing as an assistant. I was loyal. And if I got fired, so be it. But what's the great thing now is that now that I've gone back and had to reflect on it, I've had a chance to kind of write my own history and write my own future. I bet on myself. I went to a junior college. They had gone 2-18 in the first 2 years. I took over the program. We were undefeated in year 1, built that roster from scratch, took over a program here that hasn't won in 20 years. Like, this is probably the hardest job in Division II college football. And we haven't won a ton yet, but we beat Saginaw Valley State in week 1 on a guarantee game. We were 28-point underdogs in week 1, and we won that game. And I'm in year 2. We lost on a walk-off field goal in week 2, but we were in the game and we were leading that game. Easily right now we could be 2-1, but we're not. We played a Division I, another guarantee game in week 3, and I didn't think we were overmatched. I just thought we didn't make the plays. We had, if we hit a couple plays, we have over 500 yards of offense. We threw for 362 yards on a Division I opponent, had 3 touchdown passes against a Division I opponent, and we missed plays that if we hit those plays, Bobby, I'm telling you, man, the quarterback throws for 550 and 6 touchdowns, and it's a different game. So at the end of the day, like I'm a head coach now, and if I give an order to my assistant coaches, I want it followed through. So, listen, I have a ton of respect for Carl and his family. I do. And I'll always have love for him because he was my coach. We all have our coaches from college that we love, right? He was my coach.
Yeah.
And Carl helped develop me into an NFL receiver. And we just had different philosophies on offensive football. That's okay. That's okay, and we went our separate ways, but I'll always have respect for Carl.
Well, I'm proud of you in the mission that you're on, Chev. It's fun to watch you go as you build this thing. Let's talk a little bit about the spread versus pro style offense. So far under Coach Prime, the Colorado offense has recruited a lot of speed and favored making other teams defend the entire field. That said, this team seems to lack the physicality, and that seems to be the blueprint to beat us. If you go back to Nebraska, Kansas, and BYU last year, and you take a look at Georgia Tech and Houston this year, teams are running right at us, possessing the football to control time of possession, and keeping our playmakers on the sidelines, which makes it difficult for us to get into rhythm. And Chev, I'm not sure we have the personnel to simulate that style of football in practice. How do you deal with that if you're in Prime shoes?
Well, I mean, I know what Coach Prime's going through. I mean, I'm a sitting head coach in an NCAA school. I get it. Even though I'm not at a Division I school, I'm still at a 4-year level school. I think what Coach Prime's got to make the decision. Listen, Pat Shermer has been a great offensive coordinator for a long time. He's called more games than probably anybody on that staff. He's probably coached in more games than probably anybody on that staff combined, I would think. I mean, you have to look at the numbers. Here's what they have to make a decision on. Shedeur, I watched Shedeur. I was at the Oklahoma State game last year. I was in Boulder. Shedeur is a very, very, very talented quarterback. They had very, very talented receivers that 4 of them are in the National Football League, with Travis Hunter being a generational talent. Well, those guys are gone, but you do have more skill behind them. But I think that Coach Prime wanted to get back to being a more traditional run the football, play action, control the ball offensively, play great defense. I think that's what I kind of saw in what their blueprint wanted to be going this year. But now you got to go and look at what can our personnel do though. You recruited a highly recruited 5-star quarterback. At some point, you either got to play that kid or he's going to leave. Now, I had no qualms. I watched the whole Houston game. I watched the whole game because we were on a 10-hour bus ride to Alabama, boys. So I was watching the game on my iPad. I'm watching the game. I watched the entire game. Here's what I saw. I had no problems with Coach Prime starting who we started in the game. But now that game's over. So now we got to go back to the staff room and go, okay, look, here's what we got to do. Either we're going to play Juju because we got to see what this kid can do, or if Salter's that much ahead of Juju, then you got to play him. But I think where you're at as a program, you got 3 quarterbacks. That means you got 0, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
You got 3 quarterbacks. That means you got 0. So we got to make a decision, and we got to ride with somebody. We got to make a decision, and we got to ride with somebody through good and bad. Because there's going to be good moments. Bobby, you played the position. I didn't play quarterback. I've coached them, and I see what you guys go through, but I didn't play it. There's going to be good moments, Bobby, and there's going to be bad moments. You got to ride with them through the bad moments and build confidence in the quarterback. Quarterback can't play his position if he's not confident. Can't do it. And so I think now all 3 quarterbacks are second-guessing themselves. They got to find out, Beau, what they want to be offensively. To me, watching them, they're still struggling to run the ball. They're still struggling to stop the run. You got skill, but skill's only good if you use it. So kind of got to see what they want to do. I mean, obviously, Pat knows how to do it. I mean, look what he did with Shedeur, man. They were one of the top offenses in college football last year. And I was impressed. I was like, man, I like what they're doing offensively. Well, I think maybe they got to get back to doing some of that.
Bob?
Yeah, I think, Chev hit the nail on the head, right? In my opinion, we don't have an identity on either side of the ball, right? And we lack toughness. So If you peel back and look at the Houston game, I agree. I think Staub did enough against Delaware where he proved that he should get a chance. But now, in my opinion, right, I don't think we have three quarterbacks. I think we got a kid who played really good at Liberty, but doesn't throw it all that well. He's proven that. So let's see you later. We gave Staub a chance. Not he's a very good number two, I feel like. Right? He got thrown in the mix, didn't play well. I'm not saying any three of those guys would have played well against Houston.
Yeah.
The way we call plays, the way they play defense against us. But I'm in the position now where you got one of the highest recruited kids in the country here in the building. Obviously, we paid him a lot of money. Put his ass on the field. Let's figure out if he can play or not. Right? If we piss Salter off, life goes on. Right? In the day and age of college football and NIL and what's happening, like
Yeah.
let's move on.
I mean, I think to your point, Bobby, which is good, and I'm going to add on your point. I mean, Dion just got a huge extension. Dion's not going anywhere unless Dion wants to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, like, Dion's got security, or I should say, Coach Prime's got security. So play the young kid. You got security. Let's play the young kid. He's a 5-star kid. Let's see what he can do under the lights, and let's roll with him. Let's give him 4 or 5 starts here. Let's see what's going on now. In 4 or 5 starts, if it's just been god awful, Bobby, then we got to reassess in 4 or 5 games. But let's ride with this kid for 4 or 5 games. We recruited him. We paid him. He's the highest rated quarterback that CU signed in school history. Let's give him a chance.
Yeah, guys, I watched Prime's press conference, and he said, I don't know what happened. You tell me what happened. And at 20 years old, you don't know what happened. I remember a game my senior year where Pete Carroll and Carson Palmer came into Boulder, and USC just lulled us to sleep.
I know what happened. You want to ask me? I know what happened.
Yeah, they ran the ball. They possessed the football. We didn't get many opportunities on offense, and that's difficult. And to get ready for something like that, we talk about personnel. You need the tight ends. You need the run. You got to practice it. You got to practice that toughness. But you need the tight ends. You need the running backs. You need the offensive defensive linemen. You need the linebackers. So that if you lose those guys in practice, it's truly a next man up type scenario. And we've got another team that's coming into Boulder. The next 2 games in Boulder, we've got 2 physical teams coming in Wyoming and BYU. Chev, what do you do to address these issues of physicality with those teams coming in if you're in Prime's shoes?
I mean, I'm a firm believer. You play the way you train, right? If you train at a slow level or if you train at a soft level, you're going to play soft. And so, in my opinion, if you want to teach physicality, then you got to have physicality in practice. And that means that, listen, we got to go back to some kind of 9-on-7. We got to have more inside run drill. We got to be able to run the football on offense, and we got to stop the run on defense. I know that as a head coach, you got to be able to, first and foremost, you got to stop the run. If you can't stop the run, it's a disease. Number 2, if you can't run the football on offense, you put a lot of pressure on your quarterback to make all the plays. You never give the quarterback a play off. But in order to do that, you've got to still be able to put the ball in space. Even if you guys go back and look at my numbers as a coordinator, take the 2021 season out. Look at 2018 and look at 2020. Even though I was a spread guy, we ran the ball. Jarek Broussard was the player of the year. Pac-12 player of the year in 2020. He rushed for 1,000 yards faster than anybody in school history, faster than Rashawn. He broke Rashawn's record, the fastest player to 1,000 yards. So you might say that I'm a pass guy. No, I didn't. I spread guys out to run the ball. I get light boxes. I want 5-man boxes. I don't want 8-man boxes. When you get all those guys in there, you better have real dudes. It's okay to do that. If you're Georgia, you can do that. If you got 5-star linemen across the board, you got 5-star tight ends, you can run against an 8-man box. Because I remember when Mel first came in and we started talking football, we watched Georgia film. And I say, yeah, you guys can do that because you guys got 5-star guys all over the field. We don't got that. We don't have that. We might have 1 5-star like a Seton, but the other guys are just guys. So you better be creative on how you create 5-man boxes. Let's spread them out to create explosives in the run game. That's what I did with Jarek Broussard. Jarek Broussard is one of the best inside zone runners I've ever coached. And I didn't coach him. He was just a good inside zone runner, right? You want to be a good coach, get good players, but you got to be creative. The reason why that I think that we're struggling at Colorado to run the ball is because everybody's bunched up in there and their guys are better than our guys. And so there's just a big mess. If your guys are better than their guys, then you're moving people. We're not moving people. We're not creating any space. So now what you got to do is spread them out. That's why spread was invented. Spread was invented to give teams that have lesser talent to beat teams with better talent. Because now you let your skill play in space. You create 5-man boxes. And now the 6th defender is on the edge because he's got to play a bubble. He's got to play an outside smoke screen. He can't just play the run game. And so I think that they got to be more creative on how they run the ball. Go back and look at my totals, fellas. Go back and look at 2018 and look at 2020.
Bob, thoughts on Wyoming?
I'm nervous. I'm scared. I think even though they're 1-2, they shouldn't be overlooking this game before, getting back into Big 12 opponents with BYU 2 weeks from now. But I don't know what the numbers are, the percentages are, but most of these kids that we've recruited are from the South, right? And they hear Wyoming and they go, well, whatever, it's Wyoming. They don't think that this is Wyoming's Super Bowl this year, right? They want to come to Boulder. They want to crash Coach Prime's party and all the hype we get
I think,
and
Bobby,
all the media we get.
Isn't Jay Johnson the offensive coordinator at Wyoming?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure he wants to win this game, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they got to be so locked in and focused and dialed in because Wyoming, they're going to show up. This is the biggest game of their season. And I'm just a little nervous and worried that they just see Wyoming on the schedule and they're not looking at them like they're, anything special, but they're tough. They're going to hit us in the mouth like everybody else does. And we'll see. I mean, I think this is a big test at home in Boulder. I want to see how we respond to getting. I mean, Delaware moved us around. Delaware outgained us offensively, right? Like this is a chance to hopefully right the ship. I don't care if you gain 2 yards. Just run the damn ball. Try to be physical. Try to do something to give your quarterback a chance that he's not getting hit in the mouth and he's doing something more than throwing bubble screens, every other play.
I agree. I think they got to spread them out a little bit, though, Bob, because I'm not sure the offensive personnel up front.
I'm fine with that.
Besides Jordan, I don't see it. So, to me, I think Colorado has good running backs. Like I saw some explosive plays against Houston. I saw, okay, that guy looks like a guy, I think the receivers, to me, I want to see more explosive plays out of the wideouts. I'm not seeing that. I hear about the young talent. I just don't see it transitioning. I see big guys that are possession guys that are not very explosive right now. I don't see the guys like the Jimmy Horns and the guys that are running by people down. I just don't see that this year. And maybe they're there. I know the young kid from North Crowley that's a freshman. That kid needs to touch the ball more. You need to get him on jet sweeps. You need to get him on perimeter screens. You need to get him on a vertical. I have a guy just like him here. His name's Cam Jackson. And I try to get him at least 5 or 6 touches a game. And every time he touches the ball, he's explosive. So find a way to get that kid. I'm not sure what his name is, Bobby. You probably do. But the young kid that was a 4-star recruit out of Texas, the receiver, get him the ball because that kid is explosive.
And in defense of Ryan Staub, those guys need to catch the ball too. They dropped a lot of passes that he threw some balls that got dropped that should have been caught.
We had some drops on ESPN, dude. And believe me, I said the same. I played receiver. And my biggest pet peeve as a former player is the guys that want the ball, and then when they get the ball, they drop it, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
Because I used to be telling them, like when I was playing arena ball with you, Bobby. When I used to catch the ball, Bobby.
Yeah, you did.
Arena,
yeah. You
I didn't drop many, right, Bobby?
You did tell me a lot to throw it to you, though.
Listen, guys, we got to wrap this thing up. This has been a fun show. Bob's got to
hold on, fellas. Get my buff helmet over here.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, Buff.
I got it in the office, man. It goes everywhere I coach, man.
I love it.
I still bleed black and gold. I'm still rooting for the Buffs, man. They'll get it right, man. But we can't overlook Wyoming, man.
No, not at all.
Well, that's all the time we have for you guys today. Thanks for joining us, Chev, and best of luck to the RiverHawks this weekend. If you enjoyed the show, give this video a like and hit that YouTube subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes. Go Buffs and go RiverHawks.
Yeah.
Go Buffs, go RiverHawks. Good seeing you guys, man. I'll see you guys soon.
Cheers.
See you guys.